disclosure as an issue should work every way. The United States should say what it has. You know where I'm going with this. A yes-no question for you. Does Israel have nuclear capabilities and nuclear weapons? Yes or no?
We've always said that we won't be the first to introduce it, so we haven't introduced it.
But that's not an answer to the question. Do you have them or do you not?
Of any country. It's as good an answer as you're going to get.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fear of nuclear catastrophe began in 1945 after the atomic bomb test in New Mexico.
I speak of peace because of the new face of war. Total war makes no sense in an age where great powers can maintain large and relatively invulnerable nuclear forces and refuse to surrender without resort to those forces. It makes no sense in an age where a single nuclear weapon contains almost 10 times the explosive force delivered by all the Allied air forces in the Second World War.
President John F. Kennedy, during the Cold War, called nuclear proliferation a major threat to humanity. For decades, international treaties and deterrences have worked to prevent disasters, but Israel has remained a hidden player.
I said that it's not the spirit of disclosure, it's a commitment, a specific written commitment by Iran as part of the deal to disclose what it has. Iran undertook that specific commitment.
I understand, but you know what their take on it is that you won't even confirm that you have nuclear weapons when the world already believes that you do. Why? Why keep that quiet?
Well, you can make all your assumptions. One thing is clear, Israel is not threatening the annihilation of any country.
While Iran is frequently making the headlines, Israel's nuclear arsenal is not, and the whole point of this video is to get the conversation started. US and Israeli officials have openly considered military strikes on Iran's nuclear sites, yet Israel's own weapons remain largely ignored. With the ongoing violence in Gaza, Israeli Minister of Parliament Tali Gottlieb publicly encouraged the use of Israel's nuclear weapons, referencing their doomsday capabilities. Israel's nuclear program has been a secret for decades, but questions about its origin and capabilities remain.
Israel is in possession of illegally acquired and illegally held nuclear weapons. Mr. Vanunu went to prison in solitary confinement for more than 20 years. He's still not free. From the 1980s till now, he's still not free for telling the world through the Sunday Times that Israel at Dimona possessed a figure then of, I think it was 120 nuclear warheads.
In 1967, Egyptian jets flew over Dimona, Israel's secret nuclear site. This of course worried the Israeli leaders, who feared Egypt might attack it. Despite Israel's nuclear arsenal, international acknowledgement of its role in acquiring these weapons remains absent. Israel's development began in the 1950s with Western help, particularly from France, after the failure of the 1956 Suez Crisis. The Suez Canal Crisis started when the Egyptian president Gamal Abdul Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal. The canal had been owned by the Suez Canal Company, which was controlled by the French and British interests. And of course, Western leaders then tried to overthrow Gamal Abdul Nasser by using Israel. However, this plan failed. But the partnership between Israel and the West laid the groundwork for Israel's nuclear program, which involved espionage, violations of international agreements, and support for regimes like apartheid South Africa. In 1986, nuclear technician Mordechai Vanunu revealed Israel's nuclear capabilities, leading to his abduction and nearly 20 years of imprisonment. When Mordechai Vanunu, a nuclear technician dissatisfied with Israel's work, revealed to the world in 1986 that Israel possessed nuclear weapons, he was drugged by Israeli agents, kidnapped, and imprisoned for nearly 20 years after a secret sham trial. Israel's nuclear program continues today, and it poses a risk not just to the Middle East, but the entire world. Yet, Western leadership, on the other hand, they're reacting to Israel's nuclear weapons in the same way they react to the occupation of Palestine. They ignore both crimes in the hope that people will forget about it. Today, Israel's stockpile is estimated between 80 and 400 warheads. The Treaty of the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons has lost effectiveness, particularly as the West ignores Israel's nuclear arsenal while pushing for non-proliferation. It just does not add up. As 2025 dawns, the world is moving further into what many are calling the third nuclear age. And of course, with this age, there will come more nuclear weapons, more nuclear armed states, no limits to their arsenal and few qualms about threatening to use them. My dear friends, the first nuclear era was terrifying enough. And the age we're heading towards is going to get more terrifying. It's time to talk about Israeli nuclear weapons. Thanks for listening to the Independent Islamic Republic. Assalamu alaikum. Have a good night. Over and out.
كندي الذي قرر أن يفتش مفاعل ديمونة وأصر على تفتيش ليتأكد من أنه يصنع أسلحة ذرية وإلا لا، ورفض الإسرائيليون، وأخيرا أصر هو على التفتيش. كان المخرج من هذه الأزمة هو استقالة بن غوريون، استقال حتى لا يوافق على تفتيش مفاعل ديمونة، وأعطوا الضوء الأخضر بقتل كندي، وهكذا قتل كندي بسبب مفاعل ديمونة وإصراره على تفتيشه. بسبب إصراره على تفتيشه قتل كندي. الأمم المتحدة، الجمعية العامة المتحدة بتفتح ملف اغتيال كندي الرئيس الأمريكي. لماذا؟ نبغى نعرفه. قتله واحد اسمه لي هارفي، جاء واحد اسمه جاك روبي قتل لي هارفي قاتل كندي. لماذا قتله؟ اللي جاك روبي إسرائيلي قتل لي هارفي اللي قاتل كندي. لماذا هذا الإسرائيلي يقتل قاتل كندي؟ ثم جاك روبي قاتل كندي مات قبل إعادة محاكمته في ظروف غامضة. لماذا؟ ارجع الملفات لازم نعرفها. أنا اللي نعرفها والعالم ممكن يعرفها واللي درسناها في التاريخ أن كندي قرر تفتيش مفاعل ديمونة الإسرائيلي، هل في قنابل ذرية وإلا لا، وعلشان كذا تم تخلص منهم.